Malcha Mahal, right? And this is, of course, a place that now people again don't have, easy access to.
Yeah.
Fairly protected, but talk us through that story as well. Like, what is the history behind that one? Because that's one that a lot of people wouldn't know about.
Yes. So Malcha Mahal again, and I write about this in the book, that wherever there is a ghost in Delhi, Firoz Shah Tughlaq is looming behind, because this is another hunting lodge that Firoz Shah Tughlaq built.
Okay.
And Shikarga, right? It's for Shikar. And it's located in the Central Ridge Forest of Delhi, which is in a very premier part of the city now. It's literally in front of Chanakya Puri's, the Malcha Marg.
Right.
And in the 1980s, a woman comes to the New Delhi railway station and she says that I'm the Queen of Awadh. And she draws her ancestry to Begum Hazrat Mahal, the wife of Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, who pretty much took on the mantle of 1857.
Okay.
And she says that my house has been burned. This house was given to me by Nehru, and I need a house that befits me. I am royal, and my two children, Prince Ali and Princess Sakina, and my multiple dogs, and my silver trays and my carpets and my shawls and my saris, they all need to find a place. So she comes to Delhi and she establishes herself in the VIP room of the New Delhi railway station, and she demands a house. It obviously startles the government. And at that time, it's Indira Gandhi, who's the prime minister. And this story grabs eyeballs from international journalists. This is a story that plays into the trope of exotic India, right?
Right.
It's that whole story of India being a land of elephants and rope tricks and snake charmers.
Right.
So they come to the railway station, and one of the sources of income for this family also becomes the international journalist. So she would only speak to them, and she would have rules, right? Like, only speak to me when the moon, I think, wanes or waxes, and it was dramatized also. I believe a lot of this was exoticized. A lot of things I'm sure they weren't doing. Like, I don't think she would just stand eerily in front of trains in the night while they went past and a sari flew by. I think those are very dramatic accounts. But yes, if you see pictures of this woman, there is a sense of assertiveness and authority that she commands naturally.
Right.
You can see also a sense of perhaps deluded, but a belief that she was indeed royal. And then they stay at this railway station.
And how long were they at the railway station for?
For about 10 years. They just stayed there.
I had no idea it was that long. I thought it was like a few months.
No,
10 years.
They stayed for years. And then finally, the Indira Gandhi government says that you can take this hunting lodge in the middle of this forest. She had rejected houses after houses, saying that this doesn't befit me, this doesn't befit me. And she was actually demanding places in Lucknow. But a lot of those had been converted into centers and libraries and so on and so forth, right? And also, if you look at the story, and it's actually this recent book, House of Awadh, these two researchers and authors who had been doing work on this for a very long time, they said that, there are so many families claiming to be royals, especially Lucknowi Awadhi royalty. It's very difficult to determine. So they couldn't be given anything in Lucknow. Finally, they accept it. They accept this windowless, doorless hunting lodge in the middle of a forest.
Right.
They move into it. They put out a little slab that says House of Awadh, trespassers will be shot. And they start living over there. And then you have people who, if they want to talk to this family and seek audience, they would go with a letter, and their help would come outside of this lodge, and they would come out with a tray, and you would have to put your letter in a tray, and then you would get an appointment. Like, you can come next year, much like the queen of any royalty.
Right.
Then the legend of her crushing diamonds and swallowing them and passing away, that persisted. And R.V. Smith, who was a very, very beloved chronicler of Delhi, went around on his cycle collecting stories, and he used to write a column, I think, for the Hindu, in which he said, that if you ask a guard what happened to this woman, they would say Hira chaat liya. Basically, she ate a diamond. And then her daughter, Princess Sakina, passes away. And finally, much later, it's when Prince Ali or Mickey, he passes away. And then shortly after, you have the New York Times doing a huge report on them, which said that they were not royalty. This was a family traumatized by partition. And that's a story that I think you could read my book or New
Right.
York Times to know
Right.
more.
Right.
However, this monument then, with all of this family's treasures and carpets, for the few months that was abandoned, and nobody took ownership of it immediately. Intact persisted, ASI to do it, nothing happened. We know that people started to go inside this monument and they started to take away a lot of material that was kept over there.
Oh.
The carpets, the precious ornaments, and so on and so forth. And it was abandoned. I finally went on a wintry December in 2021, at the end of 2021, yes.
Right.
It was very eerie. There was a fridge outside that I think they used as their closet. Inside, you had tally marks on the walls. You had Kashmir Ghost written on one of the arches. And you had a residue of a bonfire. So clearly somebody had come a night before, or a few days, friends would have come to
Right.
this jungle.
Right. Right.
Then in 2023, this became a spot for ghost tourism when the Delhi Tourism Department took us on 2 horror tours. And that's the experience I tell in my book, that, what were the ghosts that we were finding? We didn't know, but we knew that this had to do with the family. And then it got, it's closed off for the public now. So it's a fascinating, sad, tragic story.
Yeah.